Good morning. This is your message for today, July 12th, 2013. My name is Chip Taylor, and the daily reading for today comes from the book of Genesis, chapter 46, starting with verse 1. Excuse me. Israel set out with all that was his. When he arrived at Beersheba, he offered sacrifices to the God of his father Isaac. There, God, speaking to Israel in a vision by night, called, "Jacob, Jacob." He answered, "Here am I." Then he said, "I am God, the God of your father. Do not be afraid to go down to Egypt, for there I will make you a great nation. Not only will I go down to Egypt with you, I will also bring you back here after Joseph has closed your eyes." So Jacob departed from Beersheba, and the sons of Israel put their father and their wives and children into wagons that Pharaoh had sent for his transport. He took with them their livestock and their possessions they had acquired in the land of Canaan. Thus Jacob and all his descendants migrated to Egypt, his sons and his grandsons, his daughters and his granddaughters. All his descendants he took with him to Egypt. Israel had sent Judah ahead to Joseph so that he might meet him in Goshen. On his arrival in the region of Goshen, Joseph hitched the horses to his chariot and rode to meet his father Israel in Goshen. As soon as Joseph saw him, he flung himself on his neck and wept a long time in his arms. And Israel said to Joseph, "At last I can die, now that I have seen for myself that Joseph is still alive." Okay, there's several things I want to talk about with this. First of all is God speaking to Israel in a vision by night. Sometimes we just have dreams, but sometimes we do have visions, and this still happens. God still speaks to us this way. God speaks in a lot of ways, through his word, through the scripture, through other people, but sometimes directly to us through a vision, not a dream, a vision. God spoke directly to Jacob and Jacob said in answer, "Here am I." Sometimes when God speaks to us, we don't want to necessarily answer him. Sometimes we question whether it's God. Sometimes we would rather God not give us direction personally, because that means that there's a tremendous amount of responsibility on our part to do what it is that God is asking us to do. "I am God, the God of your father. Do not be afraid to go down to Egypt, for there I will make you a great nation." All right, the Hebrews were in Egypt anywhere between 400 to 450 years. And a good bit of that time they were slaves in Egypt. But God here is saying, do not be afraid to go down to Egypt, a land where you will be put into slavery, and we're not supposed to be afraid of that. Why would that be? Why would God tell the children of Israel, do not be afraid to go down to Egypt, knowing that they would be tremendously oppressed, because God had a longer vision than we do. "Not only will I go down to Egypt with you, I will bring you back here after Joseph has closed his eyes." So after a period of time, and Joseph being the one that has gone ahead and prepared things and basically gotten this invitation from Pharaoh for these people to come to Egypt, Joseph is going to be dead, and they're going to be there with a different Pharaoh who does not know Joseph, who did not make a deal with the Hebrews, and that's when the trouble begins. But God is saying, you won't be alone. I'll be there with you. So Jacob departed, did what God had said to do, took his wives. Everybody goes to Egypt. And then when Joseph meets Israel, his father, in Goshen. Israel said, now I can die, because I have seen that my son Joseph still lives. His fears had been put aside, and he knew that his son Joseph was not only still alive, but had prospered, and was going to take care of the descendants, was going to take care of the children of Israel. The children of Israel. This is Israel, for which the nation was named after. And Joseph's going to take care of them. And God's taking care of them through Joseph and through the further descendants. Often we worry for no reason. How many times have you worried about something and then it either happened or it didn't happen, and you think, why did I worry all that time? You're not the only one. Obviously, this has happened through the generations. God's got a better plan than we do. This has been your message for today. Subscribe. Come back and see me tomorrow, and have a blessed day.